Hi, my name is Melissa, and welcome to our Ask a Business Owner series. Today we have David Libby, and he's a PR expert, and he'll talk about his industry and his company. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Melissa.
So, David, could you tell us more about yourself and why you started your company?
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I started my company because I saw a need in the market for B2B technology companies that needed to really focus on what their value is and how accelerate that value in the marketplace to increase their brand awareness.
Great. So, could you describe your professional background before you started your company?
Absolutely. So I started my profession in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles, and we represented various celebrities. And then I was recruited up to the Bay Area to work for an agency that represented Apple and Pixar. And I was asked to help manage the Pixar account, where we worked with Steve Jobs and we launched the movies Bug's Life, and I helped launch Toy Story 2.
Wow. So, do you have a favorite Pixar character?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I don't. And there's so many, they're so endearing. And after that, I went on to work for various technology companies because working with Steve, I was able to transition from entertainment to technology. And then I moved into the technology realm, working with primarily B2B technology companies. I transitioned from B2C to B2B because I really like the back end, the behind the scenes of the technology companies.
So what kind of clients do you work with now? Are they still mainly in tech and media?
Yeah, they're all in tech, specifically business to business tech, B2B tech, in like various sectors, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, big data. And we toggle between working with startups and working with mid-sized companies. So companies that have 10 folks that have, revenue, as little as or as much as 200,000, that may or may not have raised their funding, to companies who are 200 people who have raised tens of millions in funding.
Oh, wow, that's great. So speaking of technology, what do you think about AI and its effect on the PR industry?
I think it's having a profound effect. The ability for artificial intelligence to be able to write content is significant, but I do think that it has its limitations, at least currently, because it's certainly a good tool for helping collect content from around the web, but it also potentially puts that PR person at risk if they use that information in a press release or in any other document that's going to be public, where they're going to be quoted, because that information, if they've taken it from the AI directly, it could be considered plagiarism, depending upon where the information was pulled from. So we're very careful as to how we use the information. I do think on the other side, though, it is one heck of a good resources tool to quickly collect information from all over the web. But with that said, too, those sources need to be double confirmed to make sure that the information that's providing is correct, is current. Uh, ChatGPT, for example, only goes back right now to 2021. That may be different in the future, but currently that information is limited. And other AI platforms that claim to write or do write pitches or press releases, they don't tend to focus on how to position a company. They tend to focus on, well, here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, or here's a collection of general information from other content, other press releases, other companies back to certain periods. But there's no real positioning, there's no differentiation from the competition. So there's really no breakout. The PR person still has to take that information and analyze it to come up with the best strategy for their clients.
Wow, yes, those are really great insights. Um, since I work in marketing as well, I've been experimenting with the platform ChatGPT. Um, I mean, I think it's a good starting point, but I think you still need the human component. Um, so those are
Absolutely.
really, really good insights. So have you have you seen any other PR trends you would like to mention aside from AI?
AI is a pretty big one. I've also seen, well, public relations tends to be that child in the family that, you know, is this and then that and then this. And, so we were public relations, traditional public relations professionals back in the day. And we were calling reporters and we were mailing pitches and we were then faxing pitches and then emailing pitches. And now it's Twitter pitches or texting journalists. And the certainly the technology has changed, but also the PR people really thought, well, if communication is public communication is once a let's get our client into the magazine, then it became, well, let's help create content, website content, let's build those websites. And it became, let's design, let's everything. And now looking at PR, I was the head of digital marketing at a very big PR firm, and I think that was too early. I think the PR firms thought maybe they were going to own digital, and I think it certainly is a part of it, but it's not all of it. And I think there's different roles for different kinds of PR people in an organization. There isn't a one-stop shop for a PR firm anymore. Like, for example, our marketing firm does public relations, we do content writing, we do analyst relations, and those disciplines all work together uh, in many ways on many days. And so to assume that, well, we're going to be siloed and we're going to have one person do one thing over here, and then marketing, demand gen, lead generation, content, AR, it's all going to be over there. I think it's a mistake. I think more so today, all of these roles need to be integrated as part of a go-to-market strategy.
Yes, definitely. Cross collaboration is really important, especially between marketing and PR. 'Cause I've pitched my own PR too before, in addition to marketing. So there's a lot of crossover. Um, okay, great. So what do you think makes you different from other PR agencies?
Yeah. So our difference is we focus on strategy. Other PR firms tend to focus on trophy walls. Their clients want what PR people call hits, mentions in the media, and they'll line up those trophies or those logos on their websites and say, oh, we were in this publication, we were that publication, we were featured on this TV show. And what we're looking for is really strategy, looking at how do we help these clients build their narrative to meet their business objectives, to meet their marketing objectives, to many of our clients have been acquired, and that's because we've come in at a stage where we've helped them redo their messaging, focus on really building out their positioning, really focus on helping journalists and their readers understand their value proposition, their differentiation. I think that it's more than just getting PR for the sake of getting PR. And that happens, when, Elizabeth and I, who run Two Pins, are, in our career close to almost 30 years each in our career. And we have enough experience in various sectors to really quickly understand what's going to help, make that company or that product stand out.
Okay, great. So thinking about being business owners, what kind of productivity hacks have you found to be useful in your business?
Absolutely. I would say the first one is transparency. We've used a lot of technologies to help the clients really understand where we are, what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're working on, what's working, what's not working, what we can improve. So that's been a big plus. So transparency, definitely number one. I would say another productivity hack is time tracking. Uh, Traditional big agencies time track everything because they want to know where their dollar's going. And they sometimes provide that detail to their clients, help them understand this is what we've all been working on. Smaller agencies like ourselves often don't do that. we want to provide value to our clients. We want to show them exactly what we're doing. So we time track that. But in addition, we time track our business development, we time track our account management, we time track our exercise. We think everything is important. And that's a really good productivity hack because it keeps us on top of really, we take care of ourselves and we take care of our clients. And I would say the third thing is closing the computers at the end of the day. It's been hard, I think, for a lot of people to work from home. But we've been running this marketing agency since 2011, so quite some time before COVID. So we really understood what it was like to work for a client, to really help ourselves, help the client, help them tell their story so we have stories to tell. And then at the end of the day, turn the computers off and not sit over the dinner table and lemon, because my wife and I work together on all the business every day in every way. We're able to separate the personal from the professional.
That is a good separation because I think a lot of times as business owners, it's kind of all runs together. So that's a good idea. The time tracking, keeping boundaries is really important.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite PR campaign that you've worked on?
Yeah, well, many, because doing this for a long time. I'd say most recently we represented a payment processing solution that was just wonderful because there's so many of them. There's a lot of different kinds of companies that offer this to retailers and merchants, and they have various promises, and they're all over the world. And this gentleman came to us and said, I've got this, and I did a lot of research and found, well, what he has is what a lot of other companies have. And we kind of bantered back and forth about, well, yeah, but he's going to launch. I mean, he's got no choice. He's got everything lined up. He's got his marketing, his advertising, everything. So PR has to be a part of that. And absolutely, I agree with that. And after a few conversations, we came to realize that, wow, this gentleman who runs this company came from a really big brand name company. And he did incredible things at this company, including naming two of the leading products. And I said, would it be okay if we mention that in the press release, that this is where you came from, and now this is where you are, this is what you're doing? And he said, of course. So we led the press release with him coming from this company, and subsequently we got the most incredible media coverage. We got coverage in TechCrunch, we got coverage in various payments publications that just helped him build this PowerPoint presentation to show that there is a leader out there who has a viable product, who's got customers, who's really doing really well and is looking for financing. And that, I just felt so great for that gentleman that we were able to just really help him break out and help him potentially attract new investors from really highlighting his success as an entrepreneur, versus just here's another announcement.
Yeah, I think founder stories really helps drive home that human interest story because people
Yeah.
like to connect with other people. So they
Yep.
really want to know who are the people behind the business. So that is very powerful. And the fact that he has so much experience. TechCrunch is a pretty good platform too to be found. So that sounds like a great campaign.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what do you what actionable thing do you think new business owners could do in relation to maybe getting PR for themselves? Or so they're just starting out, maybe a tip about how to interact with PR agencies to get
Mhm.
coverage or how to pitch themselves. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, absolutely. If they're just starting out, do they have success, or they're just starting out? Do they have any customers, or?
Um, maybe just starting out, maybe 0 to, I don't know, maybe small fan base.
Okay.
Just,
So
yeah, the beginning.
if they're just starting out, they really want to lay the foundation for what their story could be. They want to pull together information that a messaging document basically that helps describe, you know, what their mission is, what their vision is, classic business uh, tactics. And they wanted, once they've gotten that together, they want to talk about, well, who's their target personas, what messaging they want to direct to each one of those personas. Maybe there's products they want to list, what messaging they have for each one of those products. And then they want to marry that to their website, to provide information. I mean, I'm being very high level here, but they want to really make sure that any messaging they create is consistent with their marketing messaging on their website or in any emails they do. And public relations in that case is really something they can plan for, but isn't necessarily something they can start with. If they start, they probably wouldn't start with funding unless they were bootstrapped. If they were bootstrapped, they may consider at least maybe buying some analyst reports to really get inside and understand what's happening in their sector, get some guidance from analysts in that way, which is relatively inexpensive versus purchasing a license with an analyst firm for a year or so or 2 years. And then if they're a little more advanced or a lot more advanced, they have customers and they have success, then it's a whole different ball game, right? They've got the players on their team who have been hitting those balls out of the park. They'll want to talk about them. They'll want to invite media to, watch those players play. They'll want to get press on the successes, and they'll want to start identifying, if their customers are open to speaking about the success they've had together. If so, what does that success look like? How does it tie into the business? How does it tie into the customer's customer? How are they being successful? And there's all sorts of just approaches that a PR firm or a PR person could take with that company to help build that narrative and help build that story, to help those companies really show that they're being successful and that they're on a growth trajectory.
Okay, great advice. On another note, I wondered, so do you think business owners should reach out to a PR agency that does multiple industries, or should they target a PR agency that focuses on just one industry? So, for instance, you do mostly tech.
Mhm.
Would you be open to clients who are in other industries?
Right, that's a good question. So if the client is retail tech, absolutely. If the client is supply chain tech, absolutely. If the client is life sciences tech, life sciences seems to be its own thing, right? Biotech seems to be its own thing. Yeah, but that doesn't, that's the case for me in our firm, but not the case for others. Sometimes firms have a specialty in life sciences or biotech. Sometimes firms have a specialty in retail. Most of the time, the clients will come to us that are from broader based industries like artificial intelligence or cloud computing or big data, and they'll say they want to break into retail, they want to break into the supply chain, and in that case, sure, we can help them build those campaigns to do that. But the way that the way that our client would look at that, they would say, well, what experience do you have in this sector? That's really how they look at it, especially when it comes to writing, because there's certain writing styles, words, like for example, we do a lot in legal tech, and on legal tech, there's different attorney versus lawyer, right? There's different ways to talk about caseload. There's different ways, this is legal tech. This isn't representing a lawyer. There's different approaches on how to speak to a lawyer or speak to a law firm when marketing to them. And so, yes, in that case, if I was in their shoes, if I was a legal tech company, I would want to work with someone like us that has legal tech experience. So we're not making any mistakes, or we're not having to get up to speed, slowly. We're already up to speed. We just need to understand where they live in the ecosystem and how we can help them reach their end customer. So that definitely makes a difference.
Okay, great. All wonderful information.
Thank
So,
you.
David, if someone wants to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to reach you?
Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, the best way for them to reach me would be like to go to twopins.com. That's the number two, P for Peter, INZ.com. Or they can find me on LinkedIn at David Libby, Libby.
Okay, great. Thanks, David. Thanks for your time.